cipher. Lyrics is hyper. G-Rock is funky as hell, like the smell from a baby's diaper. Putting niggas to shame as I maintain lyrical folk anatomy. Behold the strategy, funky brains.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It with your host, Bando. Yo, episode 43 we are on now. Wild to think that I've gotten through 43 episodes this year. Should be more, but happy to say that I've gotten through 43. So welcome back to another episode. You already know why we're here. GANE versus Sergey Spivak was this past weekend. Almost said Pavlovich, but GANE and Sergey Spivak was this past weekend, so we got a review to do. This upcoming weekend, we got UFC 293 Adesanya versus Strickland, so we got a breakdown to do. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start this off straight up with the GANE Sergey Spivak fight, or the card in itself. There was a couple good fights on the card. That Benoit Saint Denis Thiago Moises fight was phenomenal. The Manuel Fiorot versus Rose Namajunas, not as exciting as we expected it to be, but still a decent fight. And in the main event, good main event, and put GANE back in the win column. So let's talk about it real quick. I had an idea that Thiago Moises, Rose Namajunas, and Sergey Spivak, all as underdogs, had a huge chance of winning them fights on Saturday night, and they ended up not getting it done. But it's all good. It's all good. Shit happens. But Benoit Saint Denis versus Thiago Moises was an absolute slugfest banger. Back and forth. Great fight. Great fight. A lot of blood. A lot of action. A lot of ground action. A lot of stand-up action. Moments where Thiago Moises had his back up against the cage and he's swinging for the fences. It was just a really good fight, especially for, not being the biggest card, but it is big. I mean, it's big being in Paris, but it wasn't the biggest card of the year or nothing like that, right? But it was a good card, and Benoit Saint Denis showed out. Thiago Moises looked good too, but he was just standing his ground, fighting basically not to get finished in that fight, basically how it was going. But great fight there. Rose Namajunas versus Manuel Fiorot. Like I said, a little on the underwhelming side. Nothing crazy happened, nothing special happened. Unfortunately, Rose broke her finger in the first round from what they were reporting. So they were saying that she broke her finger, and you can see the picture. If I can find it, I'll post it down here. Her finger was bent up badly. So, it gets tough. You break a finger, you break anything on your hand, your arm, any which way of something that you need to throw a strike, and it's not in the perfect way that it was. It's going to be a long night, and it sucks, man. It really does suck to see somebody, they go through the training, the process of getting prepared for the fight. They get to the fight, and in the first round, they break a finger, and they can't even throw the same punches that they want to throw throughout the fight. Besides that, I don't think Rose looked terrible or anything like that. 125 might not be her division, but at the same time, it's not like she looked terrible. She did look a little on the smaller side. Still looked like she was hitting. Her striking was still good. She seemed kind of slow and wasn't, going straight to the punch. Seems like Minot might have froze her a couple times in certain situations, but it was a decent fight. I would like to see maybe one more fight from Rose at 125 before I make that judgment of saying that she shouldn't be there. But I don't know why she would even go up. Maybe just to avoid the weight cut. I liked her at 115. I thought she was a just phenomenal strawweight. I don't see what the need to go to flyweight is for, but, it is what it is. I thought, like I said, she looked decent, but I don't see her having any reason to be at 125 unless she has that aspiration to be able to be a champion, and she got to do a little bit more than she did this past weekend, obviously. But, like I said, broken finger, there's not much you can do. So, it wasn't the craziest fight, but decent fight. And then the main event, you had GANE versus Sergey Spivak. I wanted GANE to get back in the win column. He got himself back in the win column. Fantastic fashion as well. Kind of slow first round. I thought the polar bear Sergey Spivak was going to take this fight like it was nothing. I thought he was going to push the pace in the first round, force the ground action, get him down. Once he got him down, I thought he was going to, call it quits. I thought it was going to be game over. But the only thing I did have an idea of is if this fight did get past 1, then Cyril's chances are going to open up much more, because we see Sergey come out in that first round like an absolute animal, gets the takedown, goes straight to the ground and pound, waits to get the finish however he can. So I was surprised to see him not do that in the first round. He didn't go straight at it. He was a little hesitant, but also Cyril's so good at striking. He freezes you, keeps you from being able to come in. Had a couple good shots, but good takedown defense by Cyril Gane. So he showed up. He showed up prepared for this fight, and he really needed to win this fight and win it with a statement, and that's exactly what it did with a second round TKO over Sergey Spivak. A big win. Like I said, huge win. Put him back in the win column. He looked good, man. He looked good. Following a fight like he did last fight and everybody counting him out. I mean, the man's only been in mixed martial arts for 3 years. Now, when you put that in perspective, you sit back and think about that thing, you're like, oh shit, okay. Kind of hard to talk about Cyril Gane being trash or overrated or garbage because he lost to John Jones in 45 seconds. It's fucking John Jones. You guys act like John Jones hasn't beat the shit out of other people in all of the UFC. Like, you count this man out because he got subbed by the consensus GOAT. You sound stupid. The man's not done. He's not overrated. He's not trash. He just got beat by someone who was better that night. But you see how much stronger he comes back after a loss. Comes back like a savage to get the win. So, respect and hats off, props off to Cyril Gane, because he got it done, put himself in a great position. Now you got a guy with Tom Aspinall who just won his last fight, sitting there saying that's an interesting fight. You got Sergey Pavlovich still sitting, waiting back. You know, his team is not a good marketing team. I don't know what they're doing for the man. They don't push nothing. He's one of the scariest hitters in the heavyweight division, and no one pushes him like he is. Now, they pushed Ngannou like Ngannou was going to kill somebody in there with one punch. Now, Sergey Pavlovich is practically doing the same thing. You just haven't seen that crazy spark out power yet where one guy goes to sleep like Alistair Overeem did, but every other freaking knockout is looked just as similar as Francis Ngannou's. So I don't understand why. Maybe because the man doesn't look like an absolute shredded predator like that, but the man is a savage. The man is a monster, and heavyweights are avoiding that man at all costs. So I don't know what his marketing team is doing, but they got to start pushing. They got to start doing a little bit more, because they just simply are not doing enough for Sergey Pavlovich. But overall, Cyril Gane, big win. Put him back in the win column. A lot of options now at heavyweight. So we'll be waiting to see what happens. November's John Jones and Stipe. Both of them look like they're looking to retire after that fight. So you're going to have a vacant heavyweight championship. Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, Sergey Pavlovich. Those three are the top runners. And then Curtis Blaydes is always just a win away from putting himself back into that, conversation. So we'll sit back, we'll wait and see what happens with the heavyweight division. Besides that, this weekend we got UFC 293, baby. We're going to Sydney. Well, I'm not going to Sydney. You ain't never going to catch me in Sydney. Have you seen the spiders in Australia? I'm good. Alright? Good. But either way, UFC 293 is this weekend. And it is Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya. Izzy is defending the strap against Sean fucking Strickland. This is going to be awesome. Now, let's be honest, all right? Let's be straightforward with this. It's not going to be an easy night for Sean. By any means. It's going to be a very long night for Sean. Izzy's going to bring it to him. And I don't know what game plan Sean Strickland has going in there, but it's going to be a long one. So let's just break this main card down real quick, and let's just talk about it. Let's go. Alright, so breaking down this main card. We're opening the card with Tyson Pedro going up against Anton Turkalj. Now, I don't know a whole bunch about Anton. I have seen him fight. He is an 8-2 prospect. He is very skilled at light heavyweight. And I've seen Tyson Pedro put into work. I've seen Tyson Pedro fight guys like Shogun Rua. I saw him fight and lose to Bukowskis, however you say the dude's name. You know, I saw him get wins over Harry Hunsucker. I remember that one. I'll never forget a guy's name like Harry fucking Hunsucker. So, saw him win. Yeah, saw him take that loss against Shogun. Saw him take the loss against OSP. But Tyson Pedro is actually a skilled dude who seems like when he's in there in the lot, when he does lose, he just was in a fight where he couldn't put things together. He's got all the tools, but just couldn't put them together that night. I think he's going to be good this weekend. Being behind a hometown crowd, or kind of a hometown crowd, just being in Australia, being in a home, fighting out of Sydney and everything like that, I think he's going to do very well. His whole team's on his card. Everybody from City Kickboxing's on this fucking card. So, a lot of support. I think he's going to do very well. But the Anton Turkalj dude, if I remember correctly, has very good ground game. Not like in terms of heavy wrestler, but I think he has a very skilled ground game. But he has lost to Gelton Almeida at a catchweight. But I mean, Gelton Almeida is practically a heavyweight, so that's a tough one to win. So he's gotten a loss against him and a loss against Vitor Petrino. So no wins yet in the UFC. He's 8-2 in his MMA career. This could be a perfect fight for him to break out and get, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know about this fight. What the fuck am I talking about? I know Tyson Pedro, seen Tyson Pedro. Anton Turkalj, I know I've seen him fight, but he's 0-2 in the UFC, hasn't done nothing, hasn't made no magic. Let's fucking be real. Tyson Pedro's going to go in there. He's got the experience. And like I said, he's got all the tools to be a very good fighter. He just doesn't put them together. If he can go in there and put them together against an 0-2 prospect, you got a good night ahead of you, brother. So we'll see what happens with that one. But that's opening the card. Perfect way to open a card. Like I said, it's basically a City Kickboxing card. All of City Kickboxing is on this fucking card. So moving on, you got Justin Tafa going up against Austin Lane. If you remember, this fight happened once already. Had to stop due to, I think it was an eye poke. Let's see, was it an eye poke, no contest? I think it was an eye poke, no contest. It was during the Emmett Tapiria fight, so just a couple months ago. So we're running it back, perfect time, mid-Sydney. I like this fight. Two big heavyweights that you know are going to swing and bang. So stay tuned for that one. We just saw Justin Tafa's brother get an amazing KO finish. So you know Justin Tafa's going to ride that momentum of his brother into this fight and get himself the same thing. He's got to come in like a savage and get a dub after this fight being canceled or not canceled, but turned into like basically a no contest from June. So he needs the win. He's got to come in and get the win. He's a bad man. That's why his nickname's the Bad Man. So sit back and watch that man do his work. He's a savage. He hits hard, and he's not scared to meet you in the middle. He reminds me like a lot of Mark Hunt. So if you like Mark Hunt and you've never seen Justin Tafa fight, make sure to tune in this weekend because he has a very similar style. Reminds me a lot of him because he's got a chin and he hits hard and he swings with caution to the wind. Everything. He goes at it, and I fuck with that. I fuck with that style. Justin Tafa is fun to watch. Austin Lane is one big-ass heavyweight, too, so you got to watch out for him. He's got a long reach, so he's lengthy. He's got good kicks, so we'll wait and see what's going to happen. Unfortunately, like I said, that fight got cut short last time, so I think that'll be a very exciting fight for as long as it does last. Maybe a few minutes, but it's not going to be a long one. Then you move on, you got Manel Kape versus Felipe Dos Santos. Now, this fight was supposed to be Manel Kape versus Kai Kara France. For some reason, every time Manel Kape's name is on a card, something happens with it. I feel bad for the man because nothing can ever just fall through the way that it needs to for him. So many fights are always falling out. He's ending up fighting a guy fighting on short notice, or he has to just pull out of the fight in general. It sucks to see because he is definitely a top flyweight, and he just doesn't get it's weird. He gets the opportunity, but the opportunity doesn't actually like come to full fruition. It really does suck to see because the dude is really skilled. And I want to see him against top guys in the division. I want to see him against guys like Kai Kara France. I want to see him against guys like Figueiredo. Him against Brandon Royval would be exciting. Like, I want to see him in those fights, but every time something comes up for it, it gets scratched some way, somehow. So, but he's got a fight against a 7-0 Felipe Dos Santos, who I honestly don't know anything about. If I had to assume, they just snagged this dude. Yeah, it's looking like he's going to be making his UFC debut. Another one of those ones where the UFC finds somebody, they grab him, they throw him to the dogs. But at the same time, the man's a 7-0 prospect, so I'm not sure who he fought, who he's 7-0 against. But being undefeated in professional MMA is not like a easy task. So he's going in against a very tough task against Manel Cape. So we'll see what happens, but you already know. If you're placing the bets, if you're going that way, I'd lean Manel Cape. I don't know what the odds are on that one, but I would definitely lead that way just simply because of the short notice. Man making his debut, and he's making his debut against a Savage. So I'm going with Manel Cape on that one. Now we're moving on. You already know what point of the video this is. We are at the Big Dog Breakdown. We got the co-main event and the main event. Two fun fights. Let's talk about them. On this card, seems like the heavyweights are here. We got the big boys swinging. So, Tai, Bam Bam, Tuivasa going up against that scary motherfucker, Alexander Volkov. I love this fight. I really do, because this fight is, you already know, styles make fights. We all know the saying. If you watch fighting, you know it. In any aspect of fighting, any aspect of combat, is such a common saying for people to say styles make fights, and styles make this fight, because you got a long, lengthy, very tall, good kickboxer in Alexander Volkov, and then you got just one mean, swinging and banging, ready to slug with a good chin, Tai Tuivasa. Who's going to win this fight? Not quite sure. Depends who connects first. Depends who dictates the pace of the fight. Depends who shows up. The thing about it is, sometimes Volkov comes into a fight so clean, and he's so, his striking is just so clean, so slow. It's not like he's hitting to where he's going to knock you out in the first round, but he's just pinging him. Then he ends up getting clipped. He ends up getting caught with something. Very similar to the Derek Lewis fight. He set his pace the whole fight, ended up getting clipped. It depends on what Volkov comes out. Volkov could be very aggressive. If an early Volkov comes out, he can get an early finish. We've seen Tai in the first round. He's ready to swing. He's ready to fight. He's ready to go to war as soon as that bell rings. So if Volkov can get to him ready to go and does not get tagged and stay clean but still be a little bit more aggressive than usual, it might be an okay thing to do, because it's Tai Tuivasa. You're going to get in a war. He's going to drag you into a war no matter what, because that's just the way he fights. That's just his style. He's ready to go in there, swinging and banging. That's it. As simple as that. That's what he likes to do. He likes to go in there and just swing until someone goes to sleep. Someone's head has got to get spun around, and someone's got to be on the ground laying asleep, because that's just the way Bam Bam fights. So I think if Volkov can get in there, pressure him, put his back to the cage, land some good shots early, I think he can get Tai out of there. But if he doesn't do that, I think Tai's going to get him out. Either one, you'll see Volkov gas himself out within the first round. Tai will finish him in later in the first, or I think Tai will end up getting him in the second. You know, when Tai seems like he's out sometimes, if you don't finish him, you might be screwed after that, because he looks like he's out. He looks like he's finished. He looks like he's really getting beat. He's really getting fucked up. But at the end of the day, he finds his shots. He picks something. He ends up tagging people up. So I fuck with Tai Tuivasa. I think Volkov has a big chance, but with them being in Sydney and having that hometown crowd, I'm going with Tai Tuivasa in that one. So you can lock that one in. Tai Tuivasa is my prediction for Saturday night. Moving on to the main event, you got Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Now, look, my main excitement has been what we're getting the past few. We already got it the past few days. You've been watching the vlogs. Anybody been watching the vlogs? Sean's a nutbag. Sean's crazy. Says whatever he wants to say when he wants to say it. He's always calling out Izzy for shit. I like it. But you're seeing both sides of these guys, right? They're two crazy characters. You got an opposite end of the spectrum, Izzy, and the completely opposite end of the spectrum, Sean. You have two different kind of crazies, two different kind of weirds, two different kind of just fun energies. So you're going to see a lot of back and forth throughout this fight week. But the thing about it is, Izzy's going into this fight not taking Sean lightly, right? All the fans, all the critics, everybody is taking Sean lightly, saying that Izzy's going to run through him. And I'm part of that, right? I feel like Izzy is going to run right through Sean. And a lot of people are saying that because they hate Sean. A lot of people are saying that because they want it to happen to Sean. I'm saying that because there is a clear skill gap between the two. We've seen Sean go in there, have a lot of different openings in his strikes. He's gotten caught with stuff. He's been rocked. He's been knocked out. Against guys that are better kickboxers than him, better strikers. But at the same time, Sean's strange. Sean's strange, and he's just in there for a fight. He's in there for a fight. He's in there for a slugfest, and I think he's a lot better than we truly put him out to be. But at the same time, he's going up against one of the best strikers in all of MMA, right? If not the best striker of all in all of MMA. It's one of, I don't know where everybody lies with the striking, but I would probably say he probably is the best striker in MMA. He's so clean, he's so technical, his timing is perfect, his accuracy is incredible. So very, very, very tough night for Sean Strickland. But when we're talking about terms of what you got to do in this fight, what does Sean have to do to win? Sean's best chance is putting the fucking foot on the gas and not moving it to the break not once. Don't stop, bruv. You're going to get hit. Izzy's feinting is fantastic. He moves very well. He's going to land leg kicks on him. Sean, try to check the leg kicks. I mean, that's always word to the wise for anybody fighting Izzy. He's trying to check them leg kicks. But overall, you gotta check the leg kicks. You gotta keep your hands up. The problem is, Izzy feints so much, and Sean bites on every feint that anybody throws to him. He bites on every feint. So if he drops his hands at all, which I can see happening if Izzy starts working the body or feinting to the body, if he throws a couple kicks to the body and then starts feinting to the body to get Sean to drop his hands, he finds something high, very similar to what he did to Derek Brunson, where he threw the question mark kick and then hit him with a quick check right. The way that Izzy flows with his striking could be a huge problem for Sean. So Sean has to be defensive, but at the same time, don't be scared to engage. You have to throw. You have to throw. The only way you're going to get to the man is if you can land a little bit. You start landing a little bit, then you can land more. You just got to keep your hands up when you're not exchanging, and you can't bite on every feint, and that's the problem. If Sean bites on these feints, Izzy's going to pick him apart. Izzy's going to tear him up. I don't see Sean utilizing wrestling. I don't think it would even be as easy as people believe. Yeah, Sean's got a decent wrestling background. He's got a good jiu-jitsu background. The man does have more skill, like I said, than people give him. But at the same time, if he goes in there and realizes he can't get to Izzy, he can't get to him hitting him, he's not going to be able to get into a single leg, a double leg, grabbing the hips, any type of situation where he can get him down. And Izzy's takedown defense is pretty damn good. So it's going to be a tough night for Sean Strickland. It really is. It's funny because there's a part of me that wants to see Sean Strickland win just to see a world where Sean Strickland is UFC champion. I just want to see, because it's an alternate universe. It's not something that would be even legit reality. It's like an alternate universe. I'd want to see it because it would be hilarious. And the fact that he would take it off of Izzy, insane. It wouldn't be anything if the man took it off someone like Robert Whittaker. It would just be amazing in terms of, wow, he beat Robert Whittaker. But in the terms of their characters, right? Because that's how I look at it. They're like characters in the storyline. I put it in the WWE type of aspect. You make it like a WWE event, and it's like, It would just be a very funny situation. But I don't see it happening. Not that Sean's not good. Sean's phenomenal, bro. The way that Sean can go in there and beat these guys. I remember when he fought Uriah Hall. I thought Uriah Hall was truly going to pick him apart. And he beat his ass. I thought Abus was gonna get to Sean. Sean beat his ass. You know, Sean did very good against Jared Cannonier, a lot better than I expected him to do. You know, so Sean actually is a skilled fighter. But I also think his want to brawl is one of his biggest downfalls. Because it's not that he can't go in there and he goes in there and he goes to brawl, and as soon as he goes to brawl he gets tagged. That's not true, because if you see him when he goes to brawl, he does well. But you watch him against Abus. He was so technical in that first round, so clean. Sticking behind the jab. Kicking well. Doing everything he was doing was really good. When Sean does fight a little technical while being aggressive, the man is actually a lot better than we think. So I think if he can sneak some jabs in there, put his fist in Izzy's face as much as he can, slow the movement down of Izzy as much as he can, might have a chance, right? But it's definitely going to be a tough night for him. I just think because you're going in to strike with one of the best strikers. It's just a tough thing. You can take any guy. The reason why Alex and Izzy is such a compelling matchup every time people talk about it, because Alex is on that level when it comes to striking. And it feels like you don't see anybody else on that level when it comes to striking. But then at the same time, you remind yourself these are all professional fighters who fight each other, man. They fight each other regularly, seeing different styles, getting different takes. Any man's got a fighting chance. I'm not counting Sean out, but I'm going with Izzy on this one. You know, if I'm placing a bet or something like that, I'm going with Izzy on this one. I'll probably do a little 5-fight parlay. I might go the whole route that I went. Tyson Pedro, Justin Tafa, Manal Cape, Tai Tuivasa, and Israel Adesanya. But if you want to have a little bit of fun, you put something on Sean, Volkov, and this Felipe Dos Santos guys. You don't even have to worry about the other two. You just put it on those three. I'm sure that's going to be 3 heavy underdogs. Put $5 down, you're probably going to win a fuck ton of money if it hits. That's how I play when it comes to betting. I throw a small amount down on a crazy odds. Crazy odds hit, you want a big amount. And then you're not hurting that if it missed, it's like, okay, 1, you expected it to kind of miss, and 2, it was $5, you know, $2, $1.50, $2.50, you know. Money you're putting in the vending machine anyway to get a drink, you know what I'm saying? Like, throw that down and you quadruple it. You know, you feels good when you make a lot of money off something that shouldn't have hit. You know what I'm saying? It's cool putting $10 down to win $10.75, but who wants that? I want to put $5 down to win $395 and make an insane profit, right? So sometimes you can bet and have a little bit of fun, but if you're playing it safe, you can stick down the line of the favorites, honestly. Stick down the line of the favorites. It'll probably take you to plus 100 to plus 300 or something. Place a decent little bet. Have a good night. Just depends. I don't know what's on the prelims. I probably won't be throwing anything down on there. You do got Carlos Ulberg on the prelims. Nasrat Haqparast is on the prelims. We already know Nasrat's fun to watch. Brings an exciting fight. Shane Young, another city kickboxing fighter, is on this card. Oh, it looks like Casey O'Neill was supposed to be on this card against Vivian Araujo, but that fight got canceled. So, pretty decent. Yeah, decent card. Like, I mean it when I say decent. It's not that good. Like I said, city kickboxing card. It's fun to watch these guys, but I think I really think if that Manal Cape fight with Kai Kara France didn't fall through, that would have been good. And maybe Tyson Pedro against somebody, a little bit more known than Anton, but it is what it is. It's alright card, but I'll be tuning in. I don't miss these things. I'm always paying attention as much as I can. And you already know, after this, you'll get another episode of me with the the fat ass review. So I'll catch you on the next episode. You already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode comes out if you do enjoy the content. I do appreciate anybody that listens, anybody that supports. If you liked the video, if you didn't, it is what it is. If you listened, I really do just appreciate it. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.